Did you get? All right.
On
Alrighty, and we are live on a Monday. We are live. No. My dance moves keep changing. I had one on Friday. Which one was it? Oh, Friday. I was doing the what is this? The Ngwazi, and I was doing the Tolata because I had a 90s baby, a millennium baby. And today I don't know which one we should do. This is probably the in one. So just saying, yes. Doricah is saying Nonetheless, we are live. Good morning to you and yours. Thank you so much for joining us and welcome to what we call this Oram Pop in Chat. It's called Clinical Monday. This is where we get to dissect yet another clinical topic with your favorite clinicians. And speaking of clinicians, or with your favorite guests, sometimes they are clinicians, sometimes they are experts in the field. And today, sitting on the chair of guest is Doricah. I want you to teach me how to say your surname because you've said it along a lot of time, but I feel like I'm gonna mess it up. But it's Doricah Khasalela.
yes, Khasalela. Yes,
Right.
perfect. You got
Doricah,
it right.
I love your last name. It should be Professor Khasalela or Doctor
It's
Khasalela. It's for
going
the
there.
first time.
It's going
I mean,
there.
it's it should. They are my guests today, and we are focusing the spotlight on PWID and harmless reduction. I'm going to call this part one because we're not really focusing on HIV, and I want us to have part two. We're going to bring HIV into the work that Doricah is doing. Let me just give you a bit of a background of who they are. They are a peer educator and an international harm reduction trainer. And they said I must add this that they are also a lesbian, which is quite important for this part of it. Make sure that you send through your comments or your questions if you have any right here on the live one Oram Pop's Facebook page. Also on our YouTube channel, it is at Oram Pop. And on Twitter, we are at N_health with the hashtag Clinical Monday. You can check myself, it is at Nkosi, and you can be part of the conversation just like that. Don't forget, www.popin.org gives you the behind the scenes to these and many other conversations that we've had with your favorite clinicians for both Clinical Monday and It's a Wrap. Well, with that said, let's just jump straight into it. Doricah, good morning. Thank you so much for making time for us. I really appreciate your time. And happy Monday.
Good morning, V, and thank you for inviting me to your lovely space. Couldn't wait, by the way. So I'm just excited to be here and to share what we do because I think a lot of people don't know what we do, but just to
Yeah.
be here, I think a lot of people will get so much information from this.
Definitely. Most definitely. I cannot wait for this conversation. It's been long overdue. That's why I'm saying we need a two-part series for this one. So we'll begin with this one just to give a sense of what people are, or rather to give a sense of what you do. So for someone who does not know PWIDs, this is a term that we use a lot in the NGO space, or in the key population space. PWIDs are part of key population, but what does it stand for and what is it?
So PWID stands for people who inject drugs, and we also have PWUD, which stands for people who use drugs. So we have people who inject drugs, and we have people who use drugs. So those who inject, obviously, they inject with a syringe or a needle, and those who use will rather smoke it, sniff it. Yeah, they don't necessarily inject it. Yeah. So
So
yeah.
that's sort of not sort of, that is then the difference between PWIDs and PWUDs. All right, I've got it.
Yeah.
It stands for people using or people who inject drugs. So then, what are some of the common names? I think for somebody who doesn't really work in the space, wouldn't know what a PWID is. What are some of the common names? And maybe those names you can sort of like share if they are stigmatizing names that we use to refer to PWIDs or people who inject drugs.
Some of them include like junkies, Nyaupe boys, drug abusers, or drug addicts. I sometimes feel like instead of saying somebody is a drug abuser or a drug addict, why can't you just say somebody's dependent on a drug? Saying someone is abusing something is sort of stigmatizing. So yeah, somebody's not a junkie. I'd rather say a person is a drug user instead because you're using drugs. That's just it.
And is this perhaps maybe just a follow-up question on that? Is this then how people who are using drugs would also like to be referred to, as opposed to, drug abusers, addicts, nyaupe boys, junkies?
Yeah, a lot of drug users, they'd rather be addressed like drug users, not other names like nyaupe boys, junkies. It's funny because between them as users, it's okay for them to say you're a junkie, you're a what, but because already as a society we've made them feel like it's okay to call themselves like drug abusers, And this thing is simple. The person is a drug user, point blank, You don't have to go an extra mile to just say junkie and whatnot.
Yeah, I got you. Let's talk about TB HIV care. Give us a bit of a background of what you do at TB HIV care and the services that TB HIV care offers.
So with TB HIV care, the aim of this program is to provide HIV prevention and harm reduction support to drug users and help change the behaviors that put them at risk for HIV and other infections such as hepatitis and TB, And also, the project aims to give a safe space for people who use drugs, because they hardly get that sense of belonging. So the project aims at that as well. So the services that we give, they're all free, by the way. They are free, all of them,
Yeah.
Are we there? Can you hear me?
Here. I can hear you. You froze there a bit. I was not sure if you are still talking. Or
yeah, network. I think load shedding maybe. Yeah. Yeah. So we do.
Yeah, free.
Yeah, HIV testing and counseling, needle and syringe program, condom and lubricant distribution. We give ARVs and PrEP, TB screening, STI treatment, wound care, laundry facilities, showers for our clients, internet access for them to actually do whatever that they want to do, search for jobs, create CVs and all that. Weekly meals and a safe space for them to relax, watch movies, while they're busy taking showers and all. Just have a safe space, And we also give them opioid substitute therapy. Others would know it as methadone. And then, yeah, basically that.
I got you. I'm sort of like interested in one or two of the services, and I think when we then have a part two, we'll then go down on the list of those services and then break them down as we go by. But I'm interested in the for them creating CVs and searching the internet. They have that. Because you are creating an inclusive safe space, and also I'm interested in the methadone sort of like service within that. So let's break those two down. So personally, with the first one of giving them a safe space and giving them access to internet and all that, do you think that there has been a reception in terms of people that provide jobs to employ people who are using drugs or who are injecting drugs? One, that's the first question. Second question that speaks to methadone. What is it? What is methadone? Perhaps break it down for us to understand that better.
Okay, to attend to your first question, obviously, most of our clients have criminal records. So, and a lot of companies don't necessarily feel like it's safe to hire people with criminal records. And another thing is that with us, as TB HIV care, it's so, I don't know how to put it, because it's so interesting that our jobs are advertised online, right? And already we have hired one peer educator from our clients by that service that we create, So with an external organization, it's a bit hard. I don't want to lie. The reception is not that well. We're still trying to find a way on how to address such a situation, but it's the reception is not that well.
Could it be possibly because of stigma? Maybe there's still stigma in the work environment to bring in someone who has, who has a client or who is in a program that deals with harmless reduction, maybe because they are drug users or people who inject drugs.
The stigma, yes, because already if somebody, because they don't mention obviously on their CVs that they're using drugs or whatnot. But then the problem now comes when it comes to criminal record checks, and because they will get interviews because we have smart people, they would get interviews, and they will go to the interviews now. They will come to us, they will shower, we'll get them clothes because we have people who donate clothes. They come to us and say, okay, guys, I'm going to an interview. Then we get you new clothes. We give you like shower, do this. We give you prompts and everything. But when you get there, you do well. But when they start doing some checks, you have criminal records, and now it's a problem, So yeah.
Let's talk about the methadone side of service. What is it? What is methadone? How does it aid the people that are using drugs?
So a methadone is some sort of a medication now that is used to minimize like withdrawals. It doesn't give you the same high as heroin or whatever that you are using, but it minimizes the withdrawals, and it can make you function. You'll be able to function without thinking of taking a shot and stuff like that. And it also helps you to minimize your drug intake. So if you're a person who wants to stop using opiates, then you can do methadone. And if you also want to reduce your usage, then you can also use methadone. So yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's gonna help you stop completely there and there, but it's gonna help you with your journey of recovering from using drugs.
I got you. Well, now I sort of get a sense of what it is, because in a lot of these spaces, a lot of people will then mention methadone, but we don't get a sense of what it is and how it's used, and therefore what would be then its function. Now let's talk about, you touched a lot during the conversation on harmless reduction. Then how do you facilitate the harmless reduction process?
How do we facilitate it?
So maybe first explain what is harmless reduction, and then how do you then facilitate the harmless reduction?
So it's basically called harm reduction. Harmless is just something.
Oh,
yes.
Harm reduction.
Yes.
Harmless reduction.
So, so it's harm reduction, although it's self-explanatory, but I'll try to just make it simple. Like, it's practices that aim to minimize the negative health, social, and legal impacts or associated with people who use drugs. That's harm reduction. So now, how we facilitate harm reduction is that we educate our clients on how to use their drugs. Like we have ISC materials. Like I got your examples, like with different topics. Like here we have, like, I don't know if you can see, overdose prevention. And then because we have our clients like to read, we'll make sort of cartoons like this with, and then every time when they're here chilling and having their safe space, we'll give them these things to read and educate them on how to actually administer their drugs, on how to take care of themselves and all that, all the health related issues. And also when it comes to legal issues, we help them we have an organization with a Senput that helps with advocating for their rights, because we have police confiscating their needles that are still closed and they're not supposed to do that. We also help with that. And also again, capacitating the peers themselves, because others are former users and others never used. So we capacitate the peers. Because I'm a trainer myself, I make sure that quarterly I train them on how to treat fellow clients, on how not to stigmatize and all that, because at the end of the day, they come to us and they feel safe with us, and we wouldn't want them to feel unsafe because of the people that give them services. So that's how we facilitate harm reduction this time.
Interesting. I think you guys' job or you guys' work is brilliant. I've had the pleasure of visiting one of your sites and going on outreach with you guys, and I just saw the kind of impact that the work that you guys do has on the community. I want to take comments right now. I'm just going to quickly switch off my camera and see if I cannot access my comments. If you just joined us, welcome to it. We are joined by Doricah Khasalela, who is from TB HIV Care, who just joined us to speak about the harm, or rather PWIDs and the harm reduction, and helping us understand PWIDs, the stigma around it, and the kind of work that they do at TB and HIV Care. So if you have any questions for them, please make sure that you send them through. Nothing is showing on my screen, Doricah, but I'm seeing a lot of hearts. Loves hearts.
Loves.
And I think you are very much deserving of that, also because it was your birthday during the weekend, and you were, adding a +1 onto your life. So happy belated birthday! I'm gifting you with the hearts. They are coming as we continue this. Send them through. Thank you so much. Doricah, as we have this conversation. On Twitter, we are at @n_health. It is hashtag Clinical Monday for today's episode, or rather for today's edition. We're talking PWIDs and the harm reduction project, and this is part 1. On the next conversation, we'll try to integrate HIV, because I think HIV is a very, or rather another big player in the space, where Doricah works. So if you don't know where TB HIV Care is, we'll leave the details at the end of this conversation for you to visit their site, and for you to, pop in at TB HIV Care to find out what is it that they do. Their services are for free for everybody, or other people who inject drugs, and I think for everybody as well. Just if you want to, get information, condoms, lubes, just pop in and make sure that you use those services. Doricah, I wanted to talk about hotspots. I spoke previously about us being part of the outreach that you guys did, and I think it was at cemetery. Can't remember quite clearly I think it was in Istres, if I'm correct. Yeah. So I wanted to talk about the hotspots, because I think the job that you do really sometimes would rely on hotspots. So hotspots would be areas where the people that you need to provide those services gather in a large number. So let's talk about the hotspots, and let's talk about how often do you then rotate those hotspots? Where are they? How many are they? How many people do you find there? And how often in a week do you rotate those hotspots to provide services?
Okay, so all in all, we have 19 hotspots so far, around 20. Still going more, but for now we have 19 hotspots, and we have hotspots in Pretoria North, we have hotspots in Pretoria East, Pretoria West, Pretoria, all around Pretoria. So how we rotate them is that we go there weekly. So Pretoria North, we know that we go there on a Monday. So each sub-district has its day in a week. Yes, that's how we rotate them. We don't change our schedule because our clients rotate a lot. They move a lot, so they know that on a Monday at this time, Harmless Project will be here. So I need to be here before I can go Zula or Hustle. Then after I see them, then I can go. So that's how we work with our clients. So we know that Mondays we're in Pretoria North, Tuesday we're in Central, Wednesday we're in Harankua or Hammanskraal, Thursdays we're in Pretoria East, your Easterest, your Silverton, your Mainland, your Centurion, and Fridays we are there, just like that. Yeah.
I got you. So then it is quite important to rotate in those in those areas for services to be provided. Like you said, that your clients then would I want to say migrate around the city. So there's a lot of specific action everywhere, and that's how you track them down. I want to then find out, in terms of drug use, which are the most common drugs, and this would be because of the findings that you've done as a project. Which are the more common drugs that are used, among people who use drugs?
Mostly they call it nyaupe, it's crystal meth, heroin. Yeah, those are the common drugs that they inject. Jacob.
Yeah. And our PWIDs always, because I think the perception that we have, and that's why maybe sometimes it limits them from getting services in places like hospitals or clinics. It is because we think or assume that they are homeless or they're living under, unfavorable conditions. Would that be the case? When you interact with them, I almost want to say, are all of them homeless? Are all of them living in a bridge, in a park, on the road? What are some of the common living conditions that PWIDs find themselves under?
Not all of them are always homeless, but most of them are homeless. We have people who are our clients, but they are house based because we go to their houses, and we have people who live under the bridges, abandoned buildings. So not always drug users are homeless or living under
Yeah,
unfavorable conditions. Others are home based, others are working, others are married, like others are just living the best
yeah,
life, but they are our clients, yeah.
I've got you. So there is quite a variety then of clients,
Yes.
and you all types of clients in that sense. Let's talk about a typical day. You are a peer educator and an international harm reduction trainer. What is a typical day in Doricah Khasalela's life? When you get to work, first thing that you do until you drop at 4 o'clock. Take us through that. What's a typical day like?
Yeah, it's busy this side. A typical
Yeah,
day, 8 o'clock in the morning, when you get to the gate, sister, the ring mo, 8 o'clock in the morning. Our clients, they're
yeah,
greeting, they want services because they're early birds. So
yeah.
they have to wait. Others have to wake up to get their first shot. So for them to get their first shot, they need a syringe. Remember, we also do needle exchange. So now, early in the morning, you get your first client. After your first client is clients walking in left, right, and
Mhm.
center. It's a busy day here. Like every
Yeah,
day, it's a busy day. You have people coming for medication, you have people coming for information, you have people coming to enroll for other things, it's a busy day. All day, every day.
I've got you. I want to
Yeah.
touch on needle exchange. What is it? Um, what is it? Do you exchange needles for something? What's that all about?
So it's called needle and syringe distribution, collection, and disposal. So now what we do is that we take back the old needles that were used by our clients from them
Mhm.
and give them new ones to use. Reason being health reasons, obviously, and also for legal matters, because if they find you with an open syringe, for in South Africa, it's a crime. You get arrested for that. And
Mhm.
so yeah, to also just for health reasons, and
Yeah,
I mean harm reduction. After all, we are reducing the harm. And also when you
yeah,
give you a new one, we are saying to you, instead of repeating a needle, when you repeat a needle, that point it
Mhm.
gets tired and it damages the vein. So
Mhm.
instead of using the old one, use a new one. It's much better, it's clean, it's sterile, because we also give sterile water and stuff like that. So
I got you.
that's what
Um,
honestly is.
what needle exchange is. So in exchange, if I bring in 5 needles, do I get 5 needles in return? If I return 1 needle, do I get 1 needle in return? In terms of the submission of needles, how does that work?
So yes, we do, what you give is what you get, but in a sense that you give me 5 and I give you 7. The reason being, I want you to bring back all the syringes that I gave you because I don't want you to throw them away. So the more you give me, I add at least with a 2 or 3 for motivation that, oh, if I bring back, they'll actually give me an extra. So we use that strategy, so that they don't go lying around and kids will have
Yeah,
it and eat it. Oh, it's another hula. So yeah.
yeah. I get you when you say then for safety purposes, then they need to return all those needles, so that to keep this the spread of harm. Then in that way, it's better manageable and actually controlled. I want to talk about the number of clients that you see on a day. On a regular day, if you were to count from the top of your head, how many clients do you see? This can be both on outreach and walk-ins into the facility.
You won't believe this, but plus minus 100 people per day.
Hectic.
I know. Every day. I'm not talking just and not like a happy hour time or just every day. 100 plus people every day.
Wow. What is the demographics, or rather demographics? Yeah. What are the demographics? Do you see a lot of male clients? Do you see female clients? Is it a mixture? And I'm quite interested to find out, do you then have people who are of the LGBTQI, maybe lesbian women, gay men, transgender women, transgender men? What is the, give me that picture in terms of, I want to say, classification. How many do you see? Or do you see?
So we see a lot of males. I don't want to lie. We see a lot of male users, but there's also females, but there are more males. We also have members of the LGBTIQ plus community. We also have sex workers. We have a variety of people. Yeah.
Back to the point that you made, that they are not necessarily living under unfavorable conditions. They're living everywhere, and there could be anyone. So I guess in this instance also you see everyone. Now I'm interested in the importance then of having such a project, or the importance of having such an organization. What is sort of like the message that TB care or the Harmless project is taking out to the community in terms of in terms of dealing with drugs? Because I mean, we are all affected by it. If I'm not using personally, I might have somebody who's using in the house, an uncle, a sister, a brother, almost. What is the message that TB care or the Harmless project is taking to the community now, in terms of educating about drug use, educating about dealing with somebody or living with somebody who's using drugs? Take me through that.
So as TB what we are saying is that whether a person uses drugs or not, they're still human. You have to treat everyone the same. What they do in their personal time, whatever it's none of anybody's business. But health-wise, obviously, treat them well, especially clinics. We are saying also to our stakeholder clinics that don't turn them away. Because we're working with funding. What if the funding ends? So now our clients are gonna be stuck, and they won't get health services. Because they never go to hospitals or clinics willingly because of the treatment that they get. So what we are saying is that these people are human. They deserve everything that everyone deserves, like the rights and everything. It's just unfortunate that they met something that we cannot control, like drugs, and all we can do is support them, help them. If they want to integrate back with their families, we share, help them as well, So yeah.
I got you. And it's quite interesting when you touch to the point of clinics, because I think everyone really, I don't even want to give an exception to this, but I want to say everyone, I feel as if they are dealing with that thing of clinics are not favorable at some point. Now, I'm imagining if you're a person who's using drugs, your first encounter, your interaction with clinics is a bit difficult, just because of your appearance, just because of, like you said, you met, drugs, and unfortunately, you can not sometimes live off of that. I want us to then talk about the exit. Do you have does the Harmless project have an exit strategy or an exit plan for these clients that come through to access services? At the end, do they want to exit the program and then perhaps maybe leave drugs? Or you touched also that you have a peer educator who was using the services. So what is that kind of interaction there?
So we have a lot of clients who would love to quit drugs, and we have our sister organization, which is COSAP. They help with rehabilitation and also OST. So they facilitate our OST. So when clients wants to quit, they come to us and then they say, okay, guys, I no longer want needles. This is the help that I need. Then we engage and then we take them to relevant um, organizations. Yeah, we do have clients that come and say, I'm enough. I'm enough. And others will tell you that I do not want to go to a rehab. I've been to a rehab more than 20 times. I come back, it's the same friends, group of friends, same environment. I still go back. I need a plan. Then we come up with another plan. Say, okay, start being on OST, which is methadone, and integrate with family, or try to get a job, or maybe offer you here volunteering job. Because every Wednesday we cook for them and stuff like that. So now what we did is that instead of us as staff cooking, we now use them to cook for each other, and then for that week the person will get reimbursement. So we use a bit of like, we put names. If you come regularly, we put names into a bowl and then we shuffle and take us like, oh, today's cooking is this one, vegan course is cleaning, and then yeah.
Oh, interesting. I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful, as opposed to them just coming and taking the service or using the service, because I think that's largely what they do. But also I like the fact that there is some kind of integration into the project or into the program like that. On Doricah, I think your work that you're doing is quite interesting. Let's talk about details. Where based and social media, if people want to find more information about you guys and where you're based. Give us that information.
So TB HIV Care Period is in Sunnyside, 116 to Bert Street in Pretoria. And then online, just search for TB HIV Care anywhere, you'll find us. And yeah, we open Monday to Friday, 8 till 4. Perfect.
Make sure that you pop in at TB HIV Care. See what I did there? Because we're friends like that. Make sure that you pop in. Doricah, I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. I want us, maybe later on this month, as we engage further, to speak about then the prevalence of HIV in the work that you do, because I think, like I said, it is another game changer or another factor that we need to tap into. I really would like to pick your brain on that and find out how are you guys then curbing the spread of HIV with people who are injected with drugs. With that said, thank you so much for your time, and have yourselves Monday. Happy belated birthday. Where's the cake?
Thank you. The cake is in the fridge. You must you must pop in. You'll get it.
I'll pop in. I'm going to pop in a TV show just for the cake. But Doricah, thank you so much. Thank you. And continue an amazing job that you are doing. Thank you.
You too, that side.
All right, that is Doricah Khasalela, who is a peer educator at TB HIV Care and an international harm reduction trainer. And just celebrated their birthday not so long ago. They didn't invite us. It's fine.
Your coordinator.
We come here to speak about HIV. I've thoroughly enjoyed this conversation, eye-opening, something different for Clinical Monday. Listen, I'm going to see you on Friday. As we say, it's a wrap as we chill with yet another amazing member of the LGBTQI+, and get to dissect the conversation with shining the spotlight on everything that we are faced with as a community. With that said, happy streaming. We're going to see you on Friday. Bye. Bye, Doricah.
Bye. Bye-bye.